Awesome. So today we have Ricky on. He is our guest. He's super excited to be here with us. Um, so Ricky is generally, I've noticed on a lot of webinars, very hands-on, really wants to, be successful in our systems. And I think right now, from his standpoint of his leads, which I imagine a lot of our clients are facing similar situations, is getting the leads through the pipeline. So being able to have conversation with these individuals, but getting them from we're just kind of having things on hold, we're just browsing, to kind of getting them to that motivation that they are now ready to take the next step, right? But there's a lot of factors to consider in this day and time as well. And Ricky, you are muted right now. Is there anything that you would want to add to that?
No, that's correct. I feel every agent can relate to this. That market is kind of, buyers are sitting on the fence, right? So we just have to have more conversations to get them on the main line. So that's the challenge. I don't know. Even I'm providing the value to them. Like I send them the sold statistics. Suppose somebody's looking for a condo in Mississauga and that price point. To elevate their interest, I was sending the sold statistics, which Nick referred last time, and
Yep.
also the neighborhood informations. But still, those people are not kind of moving. Like they're not answering the calls, but that's totally fine. Like as long as even I'm prepared. Like I know that agent locator system takes 6 months to 1 year until you can reap the benefits. So I'm understanding the process and I'm building that pipeline, and that is what I'm doing.
Awesome.
And tell me about I had to put the phone up to my ear because it's off on my Bluetooth and I can't get on the speaker until I get in the house. Technology. Tell me about your market. What was your market like the last year?
So last year it was mostly referrals, marketplace, and online leads, of course. Last year I just spent $4,000 in the whole year, but I did close 2 deals from online. But I feel that I was not in more online space, more into the referrals and word of mouth. And that is where my business was. And even I was in top 5% last year. And I feel that this year is getting more tougher for everybody because buyers are sitting on the fence. Everybody has clients in the pipeline, but it's just the kind of conversations you need to have. You need to have more meetings with them. So that is what I feel personally.
Well, tell me about the actual real estate market, not your business, but the real estate market.
There are good opportunities for buyers, and there are buyers who are interested. Like I had a showing last week. This buyer liked this property, absolutely loved it. But when there was a time to place an offer, they said, oh no, now we are looking for a 2-bedroom condo. So their preferences have changed. So we just have to deal with it, right? I feel that market is giving so many options to buyers. They're thinking that market will further crash, further go down. That is the first outlook they have. Even I had another client for ready to go. He's ready to go, agent locator lead I got, and I showed them this property. They thought that they can get a 2-bedroom, bigger space. So buyers are kind of thinking multiple times before taking that step.
Yep.
That is what I'm feeling personally.
So do you feel that you have been through a market shift? And that's really what I was looking for in your explanation of, because within real estate, there's always that pendulum that swings from a buyer's market to a seller's market. And very rarely does it stay in between very long. So how do you feel the market was over this last year in regards to buyer's market, seller's market? What's been happening? I'm going to switch off, right? Because I don't want to connect, and then I'm going to hit here. I don't want to get feedback. Okay. Now you can continue my answer or the response.
I feel that, Beverly, you already know, last year the market was very good. It was a very good market. I heard from so many agents that it was tough market, but I feel that It was a good market. Buyers were taking actions. They were going on showings. They had not too many options. But because of your Trump, I will say, in US, buyers are kind of scared of tariffs. People are losing jobs. That's the story every day. And Bank of Canada is not reducing the interest rates, even though they will reduce the interest rate. I personally don't expect a big shift in the market because there are so much inventory to absorb. So we need at least another 2 to 3 years for this inventory to go away. We have no immigration in Canada. We have no more new job opportunity in Canada. So these are the things. So mostly people we are targeting are first time home buyers who are actually the ideal client for any realtor, I feel personally, in this market.
That was great information right there. And I always say, if we can be the umbrella on the rainy day, no matter how many umbrellas people have, they're still going to buy another one if they're caught in the rain without the umbrella, right? So the more that we understand what's happening with our market and understanding those ebbs and flows and shifts, and who is that opportunity within our market. And everything that you just said these last 5 minutes is what people are really hungry to know. And that's the value that we need to bring to the table right now because buyers are scared. We're seeing it in our retail here. Our retail has just completely changed dynamics from last year to this year. You know, we thought the presidential change was going to make all the difference in the world. And there's just so much instability in the world right now. People just don't know what to do. Our prices here in the States continue to rise, which it literally hurts my head because first-time home buyers are priced out of the market. They have to stay at home with mom and dad because they can't even afford rent. Their mortgage is still lower than what their rent would be, but the salaries have not increased enough to really absorb the cost of what a mortgage is going to be. So it's one of those things where I feel personally, we have to be in check with our profession because real estate is still selling. There are still homes selling. And when you look at the multi-list and you look at what has sold, really knowing who are the players in the game right now, what are they doing, where are their deals coming from, and how can you do it a little bit better? And what it really comes down to is I really think we're going back to basics where we had a long stint of real estate where everyone used whatever realtor was the most convenient. But we're heading into another time now where people are looking for that interaction. People are looking for that professional. People are becoming more wise to everybody having a real estate license. So a lot of people played that game and a lot of people got burned in the market using agents that just had a real estate license. So people are becoming more wise and they want to be more educated. And I don't feel they're going as much to whoever it is the most convenient. I think they're really looking for that professional advisor. Is any of this tracking with you right now? Is any of it making sense? I see Crystal shaking her head. I just want to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page here.
No, 100%. Definitely. I will tell you, I hosted a webinar last year and those people still know me even after 7, 8 months because they saw me online.
Yeah.
And when I call this online lead who is coming to me as a stranger, who are you? I don't know you. And I send them this webinar recording. Oh, now I know you. So just that difference, definitely people are valuing realtors who are educated, who provides the value, who are not looking for that commission check. And I'm not sweating in front of them. Oh, yes, you need to buy this home. Otherwise, there is nothing else available for you.
Yeah.
So that's the shift, of course. So I feel it's a good market for realtors who are actually really working hard, providing the knowledge, providing the value. And there is a saturation we have. Now part-timers are out. It's the clear market of people who can survive. Survival of the fittest, I will say, right? So I lost 2 deals last month. Like buyers, there was an accepted offer. The mortgage was not fulfilled. Another offer where the buyer backed out. They were not willing to pay another $7, $8, $10,000. The listing agent told me, why don't you pay from your pocket? I said, oh, you do that. I'm not a discounted realtor. You go ahead and do it if you want to discount that commission. I know how much hard I'm working with them from last 6 months. So that's totally fine. If even if they lose the deal, I don't want to lose the client. Let the property go. That's fine.
Yeah. And that's such a huge difference, right? And that is what sets certain agents apart from others in this market, and why it is always so vital important. I don't care what kind of business you have to have reserves in your business account that are going to get you through shifts of markets. And some markets, I mean, the typical strategy of having reserves is the minimum is a 3 months of what your debts are. So whatever your expenses are, having 3 months of those reserves to be able to carry any costs to keep the business in operation for those 3 months while you figure out the shift and figure out what's happening, while you're eliminating certain expenses and shifting to something else that you may need in your business. And when we don't have those reserves, we go into 911 mode. And I can promise you, Agent Locator feels the heat when the market shifts, because that's when everybody starts paying attention to their business and what's not working. They're like, we're canceling this, we're canceling this, we're canceling this. But it's not that anything has changed with the service or the product. It's been the shift of the market, and it met us when we weren't prepared. So we really do have to be completely prepared, because the market's never always going to be the exact market for us to make bank. It will last for a short while, and honey, make hay while the sun's shining, and give it all you got while the market is in that state. But no, it's not going to last that way forever, and it is always going to ebb and flow. So what is your backup? And just like whenever we talk to buyers, do you have to move or do you want to move? If it's a have to, this is what you're dealing with. And it doesn't matter what the prices are. It doesn't matter what the interest rates are. What matters is we have to find something that's going to meet your expectations. If not, you're going to have to change your expectations. Well, that's the same thing as a real estate agent, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to sell real estate or do you want to sell real estate? If you have to sell real estate, figure your shit out, because things are selling. But are you willing to put your ego on the line to step up and say, I need to be a professional and I need to know my market more now than ever. I need to go out and network. I need to go out and meet with people. I need people to be aware of what's happening with this market right now. That's my job. That's my responsibility. And that's how I am going to get customers. Because if they don't know you, they don't know you. And when you have a pipeline, and that's what's so beautiful about attracting leads, and we say, oh, the leads suck. They are people. They are people with real situations, with real life happening. We just need to plug into their life right now so they remember us. And what makes you memorable? What are you going to have to do when they are ready, when that market shifts, for them to remember you? And only they know the answer to that question. So if we take off I have to put money in my bank account and I have to convert a lead and I'm paying for these leads coming in through Agent Locator and I have to convert them because I need money in my bank account, that's a desperation that comes off that they feel. But if we're having the conversations where this market really sucks and it's really hard for people to buy homes, what is your situation? Do you have to buy? Do you want to buy? This might not be the time for you to buy. Because what happens whenever you really want something and someone takes it away from you? You want it even more. So when you're 100% honest with these people, that's what makes you memorable. But we don't want to do that because they're like, oh God, we don't want to lose a sale. We don't want to lose a sale, because if we're honest with them and tell them this probably isn't time for you to buy, oh my God, what if they don't buy? What if they don't put their home on the market? Here's the thing. If they have to, it don't matter what you're saying. Because they either have to sell because of a life change or they have to buy because of a life change. They don't just not buy. Christmas always comes on December 25th, no matter what. Even if you want to like declare a strike for Christmas Day is always there, and it's always going to be someone that you're going to want to give a gift to. So when someone has to move, they can't just not. What's the plan B? And that's really where our expertise can shine through is, I mean, I have a client right now. He is all over the freaking map. I mean, literally, he just called our lender and he's like, I'm going to quit my job, go get a job somewhere else in a different part of the country so I can buy a house. I'm like, dude, are you crazy? But everyone's going through a lot of stuff right now and they don't know what the answers are. They don't know what to do. And our job is to talk them off the cliff and help them to see and understand, you know, and that's what I told him. I said, it's,
No, Beth.
What's that?
I said you were cutting out, and I don't know I don't know if it's my internet or your internet.
I'm
Stop
not
for a second.
sure.
Okay, well, you're back now. You're back.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know what job is.
It was like,
but my
seconds.
client, I mean, as I say, he's all over the map. He has to have well, he originally had to have a house like right in this area, and now he's like branching out further, and to the point where he's now like, well, I'm just going to quit my job, get a new job, and just move out of state. And I'm like, well, then you can't just like get a mortgage, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but my job is to talk them off the ledge. Dude, if you're going to move out an hour away from work, let's really consider how much money you're putting in your gas tank. Because you could get a higher mortgage than put it into your gas tank and have quality of life. But people end up getting in desperation mode. And, you know, and same like you had just said, as far as that buyer's remorse, you know, it's a lot of money and it's a big commitment. It's a long-term commitment. And, you know, 10, 20 years ago, you knew you were going to make money on your home equity-wise. We look at the prices today and you're like, if I buy today, how is the price going to go up that much more? Because we just can't logistically see the prices going up that much more that you're going to make $100,000 on this house that ain't even worth what it's selling for today. So no wonder people are scared. But, you know, my daughter and I were having this conversation because she has her boutique, and I know I've used this as an example before. And we were talking about brand. And have y'all heard of Free People, like the clothing?
I think so. I think I've heard of it.
Super freaking expensive. Like it's a thing. Like it's a cult thing, right? Like you have to love that style. But when you love that style, you're spending $500 on a top and you're spending $600 for a bottom. Tiffany's. Everyone's heard of Tiffany's, right? Apple. Why do we buy overpriced phones? Why do we buy overpriced things? Why do we have to have that Apple icon on things? Because it's a culture, it's a brand, it's a community. It's something that we want to be part of because then there's like that recognition. And I feel that's really what has to be created within your business. And really asking yourself, what does this buyer have to gain by utilizing me as the real estate agent versus any other agent on my market? And if you can't answer that question, that is truly where the rubber meets the road, because you have to set yourself apart to be recognized. And for a buyer to, for not just the buyer to want to use you, but for you to believe in what you're bringing to the table. Eating it, breathing it, drinking it, and knowing that you're bringing exactly what everyone in your community needs. to the table and truly believing that. If you're going to bed every night and going, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I can talk a buyer into buying a house. I don't know that I can have these conversations. This might not be the time to be in real estate. And I mean, we're having a mass exodus here of realtors in the United States because it's hard.
Mhm.
It's hard. We all have to make money. And when that money isn't as available as it once was a few years ago, I mean, when we were in multiple offer situations, at least realtors felt busy because they had a bunch of buyers. They were writing contracts, they weren't making a ton of money because contracts weren't going through. Then they were working a lot harder for their dollar, but now they're not even writing contracts. So there's a difference in busy work, right? Or no work. At least you feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're going to get somewhere and get a paycheck if you're writing offers. But if you're not writing offers, you're like, ah. So I'm going to stop talking and just kind of take temperatures here. Where are we all sitting with this conversation, and how does it feel? Is it resonating?
No, you're absolutely correct. I feel that brand speaks itself. Everybody has iPhone. Why we are paying more? Because we see the value, right? So that is what the buyer wants these days. You cannot push a buyer to buy a home. Like even I was talking with another realtor. He was top realtor last year. He's doing leases right now. He said there is no problem. I am making connections. But some realtors will think, like me, I'm not saying anybody specifically, oh, why should I waste my time to that $500 check or $1,000 check, right? So I still do leases. I'm not saying that, but we might have to shift as a realtor that service is service. It doesn't mean that you don't make that 20 grand today, but eventually you will make in 2 years or maybe 1 year, whenever they will move, right? So it's just you have to keep your priorities up. And then very simple phenomena, which I felt like even from my coach as well, talk with 25 people in a day. That's it. Make a habit to have 25 conversations in a day, whatever it takes. If you make that goal, I don't see any problem in making a sale. That is what I hear from top producers in my company as well. So the problem is we are lazy. We don't put that effort because we call 20 people. Nobody's answered my call. Nobody's answering. And then we don't do anything, like, you know what I mean? Because we need to have 3 to 4 ways, like Nick mentioned other day, to generate your leads and business. So when you lose that track, you are automatically out from the market.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. And that was such wisdom right there, y'all. I mean, we are lazy and we give up way too easily. And just remember, if everything was always easy, it would never force us to change. It would never force us to grow and get better. And when times become difficult, that's when you really got to dig in. And I always enjoyed the shifts of the market because it really forced me to pay a different attention to my market and just go all in and say, okay, what's the problem in my market? How can I be the solution? What can I do to get my lion's share? And I would challenge all of you to go to your multi-list and look and see how many homes have sold in the last 30 days, in the last 6 months, and go back and look at last year's numbers of how many homes sold in June and am I still on?
Yes, your host now.
Okay, we lost Crystal then. Okay. So if you look at this year versus last year's numbers, looking at what sold the last 30 days, which would be June, and then look at what sold last year in June, and then look at the last 6 months of this year, and then the 6 months of last year. I can probably just about guarantee the numbers aren't going to be as crazy off as what we think. I looked at our market a year ago, and there were just as many sales a year ago as there was when I was top of my market in 2015. I was blown away because everybody's like, the market sucks. Like nobody's buying. I'm like, lie.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
And when we really look at those numbers, and then, okay, if there is a vast difference, what changed? What was the price range that was selling then versus the price range that's selling now? Who were the buyers that were buying? Who were the sellers that were selling? I mean, you said it so well, right? There's not a lot of job opportunities right now in Canada for people that are coming in to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was a big shift within the last year, there's a big shift in and of itself. You can't just go and create a company and create thousands of jobs to create real estate to make it happen. So what's next? And, ask Netflix what they did to Blockbuster. Ask Uber what they did to taxis. It's innovative, right? It's when we get comfortable, we fall asleep and we stop growing,
Mm-hmm.
which Blockbuster did. Because I believe Blockbuster, yeah, we were talking about, do you remember the days where you would order, because Netflix started as an online thing where you would order them, they would mail to you, and then you would mail back.
Mm-hmm. They had them at the grocery stores outside too, where it's like almost like a vending machine.
Well,
where you
then
had these-
Redbox, right?
Yeah,
Then the
yeah, yeah.
Redbox came about, and then
Mm-hmm.
Blockbuster started where you could mail the movies back.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix innovated so fast that they caught Blockbuster asleep because Blockbuster, they had the brick and mortar buildings that they were paying, I'm sure, crazy rent because those places weren't small.
Mm-hmm.
So then you've got Netflix that they don't have a brick and mortar that they had to pay rent monthly.
Yeah.
So how can we be innovative with our own business? And the only way to even remotely start to think about that is we have to know what we're dealing with right now, with what's happening in your market right now. And the only way to do that is just to study it. Look at the prices that are selling. Look at who's selling. Look at the agents that are selling. Look at the top agents. How are the top agents getting the listings? How are the top agents getting the buyers? What are they doing? Just do a little bit better.
Rishi, did you want to speak?
He's like, let
He
me
wants
in.
to say something. I know. I'll just give him the ability to talk. There we go. I think he wants to jump in on the conversation a little bit.
I do. I geek out about this stuff because it's so
Hey.
important.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for all the input by Ricky and you guys. Market is definitely changing, and blockbusters and Netflix, what you are saying is very true. Just giving you a little bit of background on myself, I'm a financial controller in the car dealership and doing the real estate for a long time as on the site. I was doing pretty good. Most of my businesses sit on the word of mouth and referrals. Is a service industry. As a car dealership is also a service industry. I call it service industry, and you keep of innovating different things all the time to bring the customers in, and that is the experience I bring it into real estate. Every customer of mine who bought from me referred me 3 to 4 customers during the course of time of 2 to 3 years. So pretty well going. I was doing pretty well in the COVID time, and after that, last year was slip. Absolutely slip, very low. The business gone down tremendously. This year, I'm still struggling, or very much struggling. Talking about the innovative, that's where I think your expertise and other agent expertise comes in and their experience comes in, which I definitely like to invest myself. As Ricky mentioned, in Canada, I'm working in the Durham region up here. So up here, there's no definite track of any ideology or methodology or any trend. I have seen that places sold in 1 or 2 days or 3 days and way out of the rack, which have no data comparison. Absolutely not. Just give you a simple example of 1-car garage, 3-bedroom, 3 washrooms, sold for $1,150. On the other hand, you cannot sell it for $900. There's no data comparison, and like how the other place has been sold by $1,150, and on the other side you cannot sell it for $900, and give and take, and they're sitting in the market for 50 to 60 days. So innovation, that's where definitely I'm going to invest and revamp my marketing strategy. Obviously, if you make money, you spend money. Very simple, straightforward. 3-month cushion, no problem. 6-month cushion, not a problem. But at the end of the day, we're going to look up the equation. So far, since I've been the agent rotator, I have a 3 to 4 clients which come from there, and by serving them, I got another 2 to 3 customers from each of the clients. So my total investment towards the agent locators, I recovered a long time ago. That's how I always look up because my mind is calculating all the time ROI sort of things, and feasibilities and spending and all those things along the line with the services provider with my other job. But at this time of this year, very tough, very tough. I'm struggling. I'm very much struggling, and to get the things around. And I don't know at this point that which direction to go. Like as Ricky mentioned earlier, they are the borderline. They're on the fence. They are not putting an offer up. They knew that price is good, that everything is fine, but oh no, hang on 1 second. Let's wait for another 3 months or 6 months, something like that. So don't know how to come over this curve. So that is what I am facing at this time, and I think most of the other agents are also facing the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're facing it here in the States, and the conversations that we're having with our buyers is everything's always going to be relative, because if right now our prices are high and our interest rates are high, if interest rates come down, prices are probably going to go up. So if you have a buyer that, now you all have always had this problem, buyers don't have enough money to have the down payment to put down, right? We're just now getting into that problem because our prices have increased so much that the salaries haven't been able to keep up with the prices that are going up. So, our first time home buyers, they're like, I'm just going to wait until next year. And I'm like, okay, so while you're waiting, you're going to be saving more money, but it's still going to be relative because the prices are going to be higher and you're going to be in the exact same position next year as you are this year. So do you want to rip off the Band-Aid? And like my lender told this one particular buyer, dude, if you can't find a house that meets your expectations, you're gonna have to find another job, right? Like you gotta make more money. And and that's where this is really forcing. I think everybody's struggling right now. If you're not from the elite, I missed that ticket to like the millionaire train to never have to worry about money. But unless you come from that realm, I think everyone is struggling. And it doesn't matter what lifestyle you've had, you get comfortable with the lifestyle and you're struggling because that lifestyle can't be the same today as it was a couple years ago because things have changed so dramatically. So with everyone struggling, it's just that there's an energy in our world right now of struggle. But if you have to make a move, you have to have a plan B if plan A isn't going to work. And that is where expertise can shine through, is helping them walk through different scenarios and almost living it as if. So if we have those conversations with our buyers, okay, let's fast forward a year from now, and he's, I'm just using this as an example because it's like the freshest thing on my head, right? He's living with family and they have 2 kids. So I'll just stay living with family. Well, that was 3 months ago. Now he's willing to buy anything because his family's driving him crazy. So, okay, now your situation has changed. Now your urgency has changed. And that's what's going to happen with people as they start to change their minds as the market is changing. But I can promise you, if people wait, they're still going to be in the same scenario. The numbers are just going to look differently. Unless their jobs are dramatic. Now, if someone came to me and they're like, hey, this is where I'm working right now, and this is what my next year looks like, you may want to wait to buy. Because if you don't want to settle, or let's talk about that scenario, or let's talk about an investment property scenario. Buy now, get your tax benefit. You're going to gain some equity. And maybe utilize that as a rental or stay in it. I don't know if you have capital gains in Canada as far as having to stay in a place for so long that you don't have to pay taxes on it, or stay there for X amount of time to defer any tax gain and then sell and use this as your catapult to take you to that next level. But what I had found, a lot of buyers, they want to skip the apartment and skip the townhouse and skip the small single family, and they want to go right to the 5,000 square foot house that's a McMansion. Where I'm finding now the younger buyers, they're like, give me small, give me small, give me simple. I want a simple life. Just give me some chickens in my backyard.
Yeah.
I want my own eggs.
Giving you an idea, I'm just giving you a perspective of another industry which is directly related to the customer purchase. In the car industry, when the people comes to, like few years ago, they come and they want a basic model, basic mid-trim. They are not going for the higher trims. Nowadays, people come in and they say, oh, by the way, what's a max trim you have? And not only they settle down there, they're buying $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 unit, but they are buying the accessories on the top for another $10,000, $15,000. That's the trend going on, as you just mentioned earlier. But we can see that. I can see that through on the automotive industry, that people are not settling down on the lower trims. They are going to the higher trims, and we have no clue why, what, and where. But they want a luxury. They want the luxury of the vehicles, not a necessity. The only necessity is looking for other vendors who are the plumbers and carpenters. They say, oh, I'm okay with the basic trim because the unit will be down after 4 or 5 years anyway. So they don't want with the higher trim. But anything else for the family vehicles, they are up to the on the higher trim. They never settle down the lower trims until unless their budget is really off. That's what the other side of the picture is.
Interesting. So my take on this is, and this is only, what kind of came to me while you were talking. When people have to settle for their lifestyle of where they live, they will overcompensate in other areas. Because we're always looking for something to make us feel good. So if they have to settle and compromise on their home, well, I want a really nice freaking car. So everyone is always going to make those compromises just to get that little bit of an adrenaline rush to feel good. Because it is a very defeating feeling to not be able to find the home that meets your expectations and to just stay where you are or not move forward. It's very exciting to be able to have home ownership. And when you can't, it's going to be my car. Or maybe it's going to be something else. You know, maybe it's like Target binging. I don't know. Maybe it's Amazon binging where you have packages coming every day.
Sorry to interrupt you. My apology. That will bring me another point before I skip from my mind. In my analysis, this is where I'm trying to reroute myself, is that housing market purchase, everything set on a new home construction. I don't know how much data you have on your side, but any area where there's new construction coming out, the houses are start moving into the direction. If there's no new construction coming up in the area, there's no builders coming up into the area because they are projecting future prices.
Yep.
And that's how drive the other people's out, and they are looking for, oh, I can't afford $1.5 million house, but I can afford $1 million house here on this side, so I'm moving from townhouse to one car garage or something like that.
Yep.
But at this time, which is a very unique scenario, which I'm not able to get the solution or some sort of resolution or some sort of way out in this particular tariff situation and this and that. We are losing a lot of jobs in Canada, by the way, and all this, and there's not a new constructions coming out because the cost of construction is gone tremendously high, and that is just some sort of stop here. But as I mentioned earlier, that there's no methodology at this point which are tying together to say, okay, this is the
I'm good
recipe
as
we have to
well.
follow.
I was just calling to see.
Ricky's on the phone.
Yeah. You got to call back.
That's very interesting. And you know, whenever I come up with question marks like that, that's when I just start asking people a bunch of questions. You know, it's like you find people in these luxury cars and just ask them like, what made you buy that car? What made you buy all those perks?
Mhm.
Because that's what really leads to finding that solution. And I think more than finding a solution, coming to a conclusion to be able to educate people. You know, and I think a lot of us or a lot of buyers have over budgeted. And I know a lot of people have had to really utilize credit cards to just live off of recently. And that makes it more difficult for buyers now with their debt to income ratios because they have more debts because they've had to live off credit cards. You know, because jobs are shifting and changing, people are losing jobs, and the job market is not like it used to be. I mean, there's so much AI out there that's happening right now. I just, it's insane how our whole world is just shifting. But houses, people have to live somewhere.
Mhm.
And it's how are you going to corner that market? And how are we going to have conversations with the people that we are attracting? Because everyone wants to know what's happening with the market. Everyone wants to look at houses. Everyone's interested in the market. And so it's our job and our responsibility to have these conversations with people. And like Ricky said, you know, the more people that we talk to, the more opportunity we are going to have, and the more that we're going to be positioning ourselves for the future whenever the market does shift into a different market.
Yep. I find too right now, there's like a couple, and I think we brushed on this last time, is the objection that you're getting and the uncertainty is to reach out to your database with that through mass communication, mass email, because it's an underlining factor that seems to be very common across the board, right? So addressing that to your leads to see if you can get any of them to raise their hands as well, or offering webinars, things like that. I am noticing a lot of realtors also shifting to rentals right now, a lot of them, because it's work still, obviously. It's a shift if you have gone so long without having to do rental or leases. But once you nail it down, it's you're going to be making money. So at least you're bringing in money into your household, into your business. But those rental leads can turn into your buyers in a year or two from now, potential seller in 5, 10 years from now, and the referrals that you gain off of them. And they're some of the most dedicated clients that you will encounter. They're so grateful. Most of them are in situations, or a lot of them, where they're frustrated, they can't seem to secure anything, and they really do value the assistance that you give them, and they become long-term clients.
Yeah. Well, and I said to my lender, I have been out of the Virginia real estate market for 9 years, and coming back and even driving through the community of where I sold my last house, I sold my home for $425 and it's now over $600.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's 10 years older.
Yeah.
Much more money. I'm like, I can't even, in some of these subdivisions, I'm like, I'm struggling because I was gone for those 9 years in this particular market. I drive through, I'm like, no, you shouldn't be buying these homes. They're POSs. No, they're not worth this money. Go rent. So yeah, I mean, are we getting in our own way and not being real with the market? And Crystal, that's such great advice, because it is true. It's like, oh, but wait a minute. If I sold a house, I'd make $20,000. Oh, but if I rent somebody a house, I'm making like $900. Well, you know what? You're still staying in the market. You're still doing it. It's better than going out and getting a JOB.
You're constantly doing something. You're building your contact client list. You get referrals from it.
And the leads are cheap.
They are. Figuring out your strategy, because they're low hanging, but you can't help them all, obviously, right? So
yeah,
it's coming up with your game plans, but it definitely is
and knowing your market too, knowing your rental market. I mean, I got all kind of bells going off right now, because there's so many apartment complexes where I'm living right now. So many. And there's not a day that goes by that I leave here and I don't see a moving truck. And they do referrals. So plug yourself into all these apartment communities and, just ask them, like, who's renting? Who's it? Like, these people will talk to you. The property managers will talk to you. And just get the information. Like, why, like, are they people coming in from out of town? Are they people that can't afford to buy? Are they credit challenged people? Like, who's renting in these apartments? Now inquiry mind's got to know. Now I got to go talk to my property manager, because that's what I just had the aha moment. I'm like, oh my God, that's like freaking brilliant.
They're there, and the rentals, they're always having to move. It's generally because they need to move, not because they just feel like it. Because really, who wants to move every year because they feel like it, right? There's usually a have to move in there. So, and the value is here, and like your values are going up. With COVID, of course, everything went up. Now realistically, the value of the home isn't near what a lot of these people paid for it. And I think that's where, and not all markets are like that, but that's where
I'm really struggling the most, Crystal, is the values are escalating so ridiculously. But ain't no one taking care of their home.
No.
There is like zero maintenance on these homes. And you're literally buying someone else's crap because
you're like moving to California.
People don't want to put money into their homes because they don't
Yeah.
think they're going to get it out of it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're going to buy in our Virginia market right now, buy new construction. If you can't afford new
Yeah.
construction, go rent. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure I could have a huge debate with a lot of real estate agents right now on that. But the home inspections are just pages long, and it's really ridiculous.
You're right on this because the deals I struck in last quarter last year are mostly pre-construction, which are closing in 2027 and 2028. Few of them are investors, and a few of them they want to move in. And until then, the market will sustain or clear it out by 26 or 27. That's what the projection is. That is true. But for those people, you are absolutely right in the pre-construction side. But we are a scenario in 2025. And that's where we are looking for some innovative way of doing that stuff. Calling a 25 clients customer a day, there's definitely a very good input by Ricky. That is definitely, I'm not calling 25 people a day for sure. Calling 3-4 customers a day, that is at the max, and then I lose a track because I have other obligations to fulfill. Trying something different. I don't know what, but I'm still looking for. If any of you have something,
I will, sorry for interrupting you. I will just add one thing here. I, as an agent, like I feel that we just have to change one habit. If you change just one habit, don't try to change everything in your day-to-day schedule. Just adapt one constructive habit, and that will bring the difference. So that is the only thing which I feel we should change as realtors. Adopt one habit. If I like somebody doing webinars, I will try to do that. That's okay, spending $500 on Facebook, but I'm getting 70, 20 people, whatever that might be, right? So just change one habit. That's it.
Have you read The Compound Effect, Ricky?
Yes, I did, because those people, 17 people were there. Trust me, these people were not qualified, but 3 of them are now ready because I was following up with them since that time. So it's about follow up, right? So, and comparing to Rashid thing, when you're selling a car, there is a huge difference because the price point is huge. So you cannot compare a person coming to buy a car with a person coming to, you have to sell a house. So there is a huge difference. So only thing, if I will keep repeating one thing, I believe in law of attraction a lot. I attracted so many clients without paying a dime. If I keep repeating I'm struggling, you will continuously keep struggling yourself. You're putting yourself in that hole, which will keep you sinking down. So say that I'm a top producer in my market. Just repeat those affirmations. It might change something for everybody. I feel it has changed for me. It might bring something for you as well.
Yep. And that's where just really studying our market and talking to people, even when you were talking about Rashid, the builders, right? Having conversations with builders and getting their perspective of where they think the market's going, what they think about the market right now. That just empowers you to have even better conversations with your leads and the people that you know, because now you're in the know and everyone loves to talk about their business.
Mhm.
So builders would gladly talk all day long. I mean, just like this, right? Like we could talk all day long about the real estate market. That's what we do. And builders the same way. And then, take that and go back and offer that as value to your leads, offer that as value to anyone that you come into contact with. So just like the rental market, just like the building, I mean, the new construction market, whatever it may be that lights you up and that really interests you to learn more about, that you can take back and educate on. If you want to learn something study it. If you want to be the expert at something, teach it. And, you know, we have to study it before we teach it, obviously,
Mhm.
but we're never going to know all there is to know about anything. But when we teach it, we do really learn on the fast track.
Mhm. Ricky, can I ask you which market you are in? Like, you are in Toronto, right?
Buddy, I'm also in GTA. I'm also in the high.
Yeah. After this conversation, if you don't mind, if you can share, if you don't mind, if you share your contact, I would like to talk to you. I think
Listen, I will tell you one thing. I'm not an expert. I'm
no,
just
no,
telling what I
it's
have
all right.
learned
It's all
from
right.
top producers around. So just change one habit. That's it.
No, that's
So
fine. Ricky.
even
That's
I'm struggling. Like
always
I'm just saying that everybody has a difficult market. It is a tough market for us, of
That
course.
right there, folks. That was such a beautiful way to wrap up this webinar because people are looking for commodity. And Ricky, you're very transparent, and that's what attracted, right? It's people want to know that they're not the only ones struggling.
Yes.
And when we're real with our leads and we're not trying to sugarcoat something to make a sale, and we can meet them where they are, just like you both met where you both are, there's a commodity there. And that is what really starts the foundation of a really honest and good relationship, which then hence makes you memorable to your leads. So you guys just did exactly what you should be doing with your leads.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you.
It's
I
I'm because I always open-minded to take the conversation to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking Ricky if he's comfortable, he can exchange the number. So I can.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we can talk. You can Google me, Ricky Goyal. I'm realtor here in Mississauga. That's not a problem. But my point was, we are here to learn from people who are using Agent Locator from years. I just started using it since mid-April, and I feel that it's a good system. You just have to keep following up people with expectations that eventually people will close in 6 months to 1 year. I'm spending $300 a month on Agent Locator. Let's assume in a year I spend $4,000, but I'll make $25,000 in 6 months. So that is the ROI if I go back to your calculations.
Awesome.
So I feel that you guys are really providing good value. They have a good training. Like I have watched so much training from Beverly that if I'm not answering the call because I'm not available at that time, you need to call me in the evening, right? So there is a lot of learning, lot of I feel wisdom is right there. I'm not an expert. You can call me. There is no problem. But I'm just telling you what I'm trying to learn from experts here. So
And Rick, I have to say, I love how you pronunciate some of your words. I'm just like, I'm like geeking out like on some of your words. I can just like put some of them on like audio and just listen to your words.
oh my God.
Well, we are over time.
Awesome.
I could talk
Yeah.
about this all day long. What a great conversation, guys. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your
Thank you, Beverly.
time.
You're awesome. And we all learn from each other. So that's the most important thing. So stay with a positive mindset. That is what I have learned from my many good producers out there.
Yeah.
You need to keep hunting, keep talking with people. Just change one habit. That's it. All that will change the difference. That's it.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ricky. Thanks, Rasheed,
Thank
for jumping in. Beverly,
Yes.
we'll
thank
see you all in a couple
you.
weeks.
Have a
Okay,
beautiful
bye.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.